Welcome into the I-80 Boys preview and prediction video here. We got Alabama at Tennessee. This is going to be a good one, guys. Look, I'll talk about Alabama, and then I'll kick it over to Christian for Tennessee here. Look, we know what Bama's been so far. They're the talk of every show currently. They're 5-1, though. I mean, at the end of the day, they're 5-1. You can say what you want about the South Carolina game last week. It was ugly, and I'll get into that a little bit here. I'm going to go through some stats like I normally do. But offensively, they're doing all right here. They're averaging 41.7 points per game. That's currently 10th in the country. They're 35th in total offense, 51st in rushing offense, and 38th in the nation in passing offense. Now I want to talk about my boy Jalen Milroe. Did not have a good outing last week against South Carolina Christian. He was 16-23, 209 yards. He had one touchdown. He ran for another, but he also had two interceptions. Kind of looked like the Jalen Milroe of last year at times. Yeah, not a great game there. That's not the reason why that game was close, though, either. Now, like I said, this is what bothers me with Alabama, and I think Alabama fans will agree with me. I like Jam Miller. I like Justice Haynes, and I think these two guys are really, really good. I thought this year before the season started, Christian, that Alabama would be a top 10 rushing team. They're not. Like I said, they're currently 51st in rushing offense, which is kind of surprising with the talent they got and that offensive line. So, like I said, these two backs are still good. I expect them to rely on them. I know Tennessee's front seven is really, really good, but they're still going to have to try to run the football in this game if they want to shot this one. As far as the wide receivers go for Alabama, Ryan Williams, my guy. I like this kid a lot. He's just a big play waiting to happen. South Carolina did a pretty good job bottling him up last week, Christian. He only had, I think 4 catches for 32 yards or something like that. And Tennessee's going to have to watch out on the back end for him. Like I said, he's a big play waiting to happen. Ask Georgia, ask Vanderbilt, ask anybody that's got to play against him. Watch out for Ryan Williams here. And then, like I said, he's also averaging, they got to get the ball to him. He's averaging 25 yards per catch. I mean, that's insanity level numbers there. And like I said, defensively here with Bama, man, I'm a little surprised here too. They're giving up 21 points per game. That's 41st in the country, 55th in total defense. Not bad rushing defense. They're 54th in the country. They're 62nd in passing defense. So the defense is good. I wouldn't call it elite. Now, they have played some decent teams so far, but they've allowed, Christian, and get this stat. I found this out today. They've allowed 99 points in their last 3 SEC games, Alabama. That's not good. That's not the typical Alabama style of football that I'm used to seeing. I know, I don't want to bring up Nick Saban, but I mean, he was a defensive-minded guy. They're struggling a as on the back end here. So ever since that, Georgia first half, it's been ugly defensively for Bama. As far as that goes, Christian, I'll kick it over to you and let me know about Tennessee.
Yeah, Chris. So, I mean, Tennessee has been very up and down this year, I feel like. I mean, it started off really hot. I mean, they put up 1 million points against some of the teams that they played. It looked really good against NC State, who we've since learned is not a very good football team. No offense to NC State or none against Tennessee here. But, it looked good against Oklahoma. They kind of did what they were supposed to do. Then they went into the Arkansas game. And to me, what I look at with this team is, Nico hasn't been terrible, but he also, has missed some throws, I feel like. The offensive line hasn't done a good enough job of protecting him. Their wide receivers, Dante Thornton, Brew McCoy, and Squirrel White have all kind of been banged up, so he's kind of had to do some things. Now, they did come back, and all 3 of them, I believe, played against Florida, but they just looked out of sync. Florida, on the road, dominated them, and Tennessee had to figure out a way to come back and win that game. So they've just been out of sync, I feel like, in the last few weeks in the passing game. I think that it's a confidence thing more so than anything else. They have all the talent in the world to play with anybody in the country on the offensive side of the football. This is about as, I hate to say it, this is kind of, in this last stretch, this is about as bad as Tennessee's offense has looked under Heupel, I feel like. And I know people give Joe Milton all the shit in the world from last year. Guy could throw it a mile, but couldn't make a 10-yard pass. Nico, I think, is going through some of those growing pains of just being a young quarterback. Like, he's going to get better, and he's going to have to do it this week especially, right? But I do think getting those guys back, getting them, a few weeks of practice here all together will be good for him here. I want to talk about their running back there, Chris. Sampson. Guy already has 15 touchdowns on the ground this year. I mean, if draft him next year in fantasy. If you play college football fantasy, even hell, draft the kid. Let's go. You're going to win. I mean, dudes can put up some numbers. Tennessee, we talk about it every week on the show, Chris. They can run the football. When you think Tennessee Heupel offense, you think throw it a million times a game, but Tennessee can run the ball. And I think that's a kind of a cool thing. He has 700 yards basically there, 15 touchdowns. So good for them. How that pertains to Bama is, like you said, Chris, Bama defensively has been as susceptible as they've ever been, in a long time this year. Even going back to the Pete Golding years, they're even worse than that, right? So South Carolina was able to put up points on them. Vanderbilt damn sure put up points on him and was able to keep the ball out of Milrose in them's hands. Then you look at the collapse in the second half against Georgia, where they basically let him back in that game and was, again, without that interception there, could have even given him the game. So defensively, I think Alabama is primed, against Tennessee in this offense to see who's going to suck less. Tennessee's offense or Bama's defense. That's the big thing. Who can have enough confidence to win this game? On the flip side of it, the matchup actually is pretty good. Tennessee, I say all that about Tennessee's offense to say this. Tennessee defensively has been lights out. They've done everything needed to do to where they should be undefeated right now. They gave up less than 20 points to Arkansas and still lost that game. Arkansas, by the way, I mean, they can put up some points now. They've got a pretty good offense, but they still limited Arkansas's offense. Again, just talking about it, I've been very impressed with Tennessee's defense. I actually think that I'm going to give you my prediction here, Chris. I think Tennessee in this game right now is going to be able to do what's needed to be done in order to beat Bama, okay? Especially by forcing Milroe to turn the ball over, kind of limiting some of that rushing ability there with some of their edge rushers. I'll get right into it here, Chris. Give me Alabama 28, Tennessee 35.
Damn, okay. Okay, we're on two different teams here. I got a few things I want to say and add on to Tennessee as well here. I'm not impressed with Nico at all. I mean, just hear me out here as far as touchdown passes on a year ago. I think he's got like 6. Guys like Peyton Thorne, the AK, the Greek rifle from Rutgers, has got more touchdown passes than him this year. Man, he's really struggled, honestly, the last couple of games. I don't want to shit on Nico. I'm not saying that he can't get better. He's going to have to. But the Tennessee man been letting me know all year about how great this kid was going to be. And yes, and I said it earlier this season, yeah, you beat up on a bunch of elementary schools. I mean, you did. Now it's big boy time, Christian, and you guys they've looked like shit. Outside of Sampson on that offense, I just don't see it, man. I don't. I've watched a lot of Tennessee football the last couple of weeks, and it just doesn't look good, man. Nico looks like he's really struggling. I know he's maybe going through a slump. I don't know, but they got to get it going, in my opinion. Now, I will agree with you 110% on the defense. The front 7 of Tennessee's defense might be the best in the country. They're elite. They're doing everything to keep them in every single game. I mean, Christ, they Florida last week, right? Of all teams, I mean, Tennessee struggled with them. So my thing with Bama is here. I'm going to take Milroe. Bama's going to have to. I'm with you too. Bama's not looked great either. I think Milroe plays a better game here. I think Alabama finally gets on track as far as defensively, a little bit better. They got to be better. If they get any worse, they're going to be out of the playoffs. So I got Alabama 28, Tennessee 27, Christian. It should be a good one.